What is up, guys? It's Mega giving you yet another deck for Link Evolution. Today, guys, I'm doing a revamped version of my Buster Blader Rocket deck. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I have changed got like 5 or 7 cards around. I've changed this deck a lot of times just because I wanted to try and find like a nice flow for it. And it is actually different to what the video I posted up. And a few of you have said, can I do a video showing this? So here you go, guys. That's what we're doing now. This deck is like, it's running a little bit like the original Buster Blade. It's like lock your opponent out of the extra deck and stuff like that. But it's also got that whiff of Dragon Link because obviously you keep spamming the boards, having some nice interruptions and nice nice negates in the form of Barlowed Savage. And without any further ado, guys, if you enjoyed this deck, hit that thumbs up, either consider subscribing, either one does help out the channel grow. Check out the card hub if you need any cards such as any campaign jewels, any challenge mode jewels, or any of the card packs. That's in the description down below. And with that, guys, let's get into this video. Guys, this is a 45 card deck, 2 more than my original one, but it really does not matter. We are running those 2 copies of Ask Root to Dragon. Realistically, you would want to run, I think it's called, not to Vision, but obviously it's not in the game, so we're stuck with Asprue. Decided to stick with 2 because 3 were just far too many for the amount of rockets that I'm playing. With this, guys, if you control a rocket monster, special on this card from your hand, for absolute free, which is really nice. And also, if it is sent from the field to the graveyard, or not, actually, if it's just sent to the graveyard by any means, you get to add any rocket from your deck to your hand. So all in all, nice little searcher. We're using a copy of Auto Rocket Dragon. The reason I'm running this is because I just needed another auto. Its effect is actually pretty sweet if you do target it with a Link monster, because rockets have the ability where if they are targeted by a Link monster, they will destroy themselves and then something will happen. So in Auto Rocket's case, it will destroy a spell. It will send a spell or trap in the field to the graveyard, which is pretty sweet. And then obviously during the end phase, all rockets have the ability where if they were destroyed, they get to special summon another rocket from the deck. So that's pretty. That's pretty cool. You could take this guy. I just like him because if anything, you use him to either Link summon off, or you use him for like discard fodder. Onto a baby dragon, guys. We're running a Black Dragon Collapse Serpent. Of course, we are running the 1 copy of Wyvern Buster as well. They are limited to 1, guys. Obviously, you can only run 1. With this, you can banish any one of our light monsters. Best summon this bad boy. It is limited. So that means it's a free combo extender, and also it's searchable off of Starlight Sea Fleet. On some Buster Blader cards, guys, I'm running 2 of the Destructive Swordsman and 1 OG Buster Blader. Buster Blader has the ability where where gains 5 attacks for each monster your opponent controls, and in their graveyard that happens to be dragons. And would you ever believe it, our synchro makes it so all monsters your opponent controls become dragons. So Buster Blader can get some niche little attack points. And then Buster Blader, the Destructive Swordsman, its name becomes Buster Blader while on the field or on the grave, so that's pretty sweet as well. And also, if a monster your opponent controls is destroyed by battle by a card effect, so it doesn't even have to be this card that destroys it, you could target that monster, equip it straight to this card. So it gets it out of the graveyard, which is pretty sweet. But the best bit is, you can send the equipped card to the graveyard and destroy every monster your opponent controls with the same type. So if you're going up against like Cyverse deck and you destroy Cyverse monster, you can equip it to this. You can equip it to Buster Blader, and then he literally nukes every single Cyverse your opponent has on the field. So that really comes in handy, especially against specific archetype kind of decks. On to the best little monster of them all, and that is a Buster Whelp of the Destructive Swordsman. When this little guy is normal summoned, he gets add 1 Destructive Sword from your deck to hand. 9 times out of 10 it's going to be Prologue, because Prologue is absolutely broken. And it has a couple of abilities as well, where you can tribute this little guy, special on a Buster Blader from your hand or grave. So even if you do have a Buster Bladers in the graveyard, or dead in your hand, they're not dead. And also, if you do control a Buster Blader, you can discard a Buster sword card in your hand, like a Memories or something, and special summon this little bad boy from your graveyard. He is also a level 1 dragon, so that means you are able to go into Striker Dragon with this little bad boy to search out that boot step to launch. I'm running 2 copies of Destrudo. Destrudo, guys, is literally a free combo searcher, and also he is, or a combo starter, and also he is combo extension, I should say, and also he is a tuner. So what Destrudo basically is, guys, if he's in the hand or graveyard, so you don't particularly care if you have to discard Destrudo, or if you have to like send him off to the graveyard with like a Dragon Shrine or something. As long as he's in the, you can just send to the graveyard whatever you want to do. Destrudo's ability is you can target a level 6 or lower monster you control, decrease that monster's level two Destrudos and special summon Destrudo. So if you have like a level 4 monster, Destrudo will become a level 3 monster. If you have a level 6, he'll become a level 1 monster. You see what I mean? And pretty much that's basically Destrudo. A free monster special from the hand or graveyard, simply by paying half your life points. Is a steep cost, but a free monster that can go into like Halki Fibrax and stuff, yeah, we're gonna go for it. And also, if Destrudo leaves the field, it goes back into the deck, not to the graveyard. So that means you can't really deck out, and also you can just keep reusing Destrudo. We're using 2 copies of Dragon Buster Destructive Sword. The reason I'm running 2 is because 9 times out of 10 I always seem to open with 1, and also you get 1 into the graveyard really easily. So with this little bad boy, 9 times out of 10 you want him into the graveyard, because then our Synchro monster equips it to one of our Buster Bladers to perform a lock. And what I mean by a lock is, if this little bad boy is equipped to any monster, your opponent can't summon any monsters from the extra deck. Very powerful from this little tuner. And also, guys, he's a dragon. It means you can go into Strike Dragon as well with him. And also, you could target a Buster Blader monster you control and simply just equip it from your hand or side field straight to that monster. So if you have a Buster Blader in the field, just equip this card to it, boom, lock your opponent out of the extra deck. And if this card is equipped, you can special summon it as well for a free combo extender during your next turn if you want to. Some more rockets. I'm running 2 copies of Magna Rocket. It is a level 4 and one of the best ones, because again, if it's targeted by a card effect, you can destroy one. So you can send 1 monster in the field to the graveyard. So it doesn't target, doesn't destroy, just sends out flat out sends. Really great. And then Metal Rocket is kind of the same, but instead he destroys all cards your opponent has in the same column as it if it was targeted by a card effect by a Link monster. Really great, and again, level 4 monster. Then we're running 3 copies of Rocket Tracer, one of the best rockets. It is a tuner. Obviously, you can go into miscellaneous, go into those Halki Fibrax plays. You can target a face-up monster your opponent target any face-up card you control, destroy it, and special summon a rocket monster from your deck, except itself, obviously. The downside is you do get locked into only summoning dark monsters for the rest of the turn. So please be aware of that ability, because obviously not all monsters we are running are dark. But nevertheless, it is still great because this guy can basically go into Halki Firebrax to do those plays, or he can go into Barload Savage Dragon or a Buster Dragon. So rare enough, Rocket Tracer, really great. Silver Rocket, guys, if this card is targeted by a Link monster, you can look at your opponent's extra deck and banish one of the cards from it. So really great. So you can search out, so you can see your opponent's extra deck, see what they're playing, and also you banish one of their key cards. Onto some 3 copies of Starly Sea Fleet. This card is a great normal summon if you haven't got your Buster well, because this little bad boy, you can send any amount of dragons on your side of the field or hand to the graveyard, and then you get to add a dragon from your deck who's the same level. So for instance, if I send a level 4 monster to the grave, I can search any level 4 monster from my deck. If I sent like Ass Rooter to the graveyard, I can search out Destrudo, and vice versa. If you had Destrudo, you can search out if you had Destrudo, you can search out Ass Rooter. This just makes it so you got like, this basically enables you to have like a lot of combo starters, and also you can go into stuff like you can go into your baby dragons really easily. You can go into spin off any one of your cards. Really great sea fruit. And also it has a graveyard ability where you can literally just banish from your grave, target any level 8 dragon in your graveyard, return it back to the hand. So this guy can recycle that Barload Savage Dragon, and also can recycle our Buster Dragons. Using Tempest, Dragon Ruler of Storms, simply because it's a really easy card to go in to, guys, because all you gotta do is banish 2 dragons from your hand or graveyard, especially from this card from your hand or grave as well. So this guy can be in the grave as well, so you simply don't give a crap. And at least I use him as a free combo extender, because again, you're gonna have loads of dragons either in your hand or grave. So this bad boy just keeps summoning them out, keep going, and you literally just keep recycling. And as for the White Dragon Wyvern Buster, it's literally the white or the light version of Black Dragon Clap Serpent, where you just have to banish any dark monster in your graveyard really easy, special on this little bad boy. And if it goes from the field to the graveyard, you get to add the Black Dragon Clap Serpent from your deck to your hand. So they do search out each other, which is really great. Onto some spells, guys. I've cut out a boot set to launch and I'm running 1, simply because I really did not need two, if I'm being brutally honest. Boot set to launch is searchable off a striker dragon, and it basically lets you special summon 2 rockets in your hand for free, which is really sweet. Or you can special summon rockets from your grave equal to the number of monsters your opponent has that are different to you. So, for instance, if your opponent has like 4 monsters you control 1, you can summon 3 rockets from your graveyard, so it evens it up. Or if you have like no monsters, your opponent has like has like 5. Summon out 5 rockets from your grave if you really want to. Really great, and it just enables you to go. It really enables you to do some extremely good plays. Dragon Shrine, guys, and Foolish Burial, they both do the same. The reason I'm running 1 of each is because Foolish Burial is limited to 1, and you can only activate 1 Dragon Shrine once per turn. So if you did have both in your hand, in your opening hand, it's not dead, you can go for it. So we have got a lot of cards activate the effects in the graveyard, such as Ass Router, Destrudo, Tempest. You don't particularly care if they're in the graveyard, and literally they're just combo extending away. That's why we are running these 2 cards. Like, yes, it thins out your deck, and so you're just able to just go into some sweet combo extends and just go off from there. Monster Reborn, because it is literally a combo extender. You can resurrect any one of our monsters, or your opponent's monsters for that matter, and just keep going off and trying to build some sweet boards. Quick launch, guys, it's basically we're running 3. This 1 magic card basically equals 3 monster basically. You get special summon any rocket from your deck as a quick play as well, and it's not limited to once per turn. So if you opened up with all 3 quick launches, that's 3 rockets straight on the field. And because it doesn't use your normal summon, yep, you can basically get a 3 monster on the field for free and just keep going off. So it's just another combo extender. I did cut a World Legacy Guard Dragon. You could bump this card for free if you want. World Legacy Guard Dragon is like another copy of Monster Reborn, which is really nice. And also, you can move a dragon on the field to a different zone. We'll get into that with the Guard Dragon, LP, and Pisky. But yeah, it's just another Monster Reborn, and it's a really great combo extender. Some traps, we are running 2 memories. Realistically, you don't want to see memories, but if you do, you can just send it to the graveyard via your Buster Whelps and stuff like that, so it's not really a dead card. If you do want to activate it, you just have to discard any Destruction Sword card, and you get special on a Buster Blader directly from your deck, which is pretty sweet. The main reason why you don't really want to see memories is because you're going to send it to the graveyard via Prologue, because its graveyard effect is you can do a Fusion Summon with a Buster Blader and any dragon in your grave, special summon out the Buster Blader Fusion monster, which is really sweet because you get to do this during your opponent's turn. Using 2 copies of Imperm, because obviously it shuts your opponent down. Because we are running Trap Trick, guys, I want to know Prologue, Infinite Impermanence, and also Memories can be searched via Trap Trick to get instant access to them. So with Imperm, guys, it's like an Effect Veiler but better, because Effect Veiler can be called by the grave, Imperm can't because it's a trap card. It lit you and also it can work during your opponent's battle phase or end phase, not just the main phase, which is pretty sweet. If you control no cards, play this card directly from your hand, so it's great going to second card, and if you do set it and activate it, any spell or trap that activates in the same column is also negated as well. We're using 3 copies of Prologue. This 1 card is so overpowered it's untrue. So with it, guys, you get to send 1 Destructive Sword card and a Buster Blader to the graveyard to go into our Buster Blader Synchro monster. So a little nice thing you can do, guys, is play Prologue, and like if you have any dragon in the graveyard, you simply play Prologue to send Memories and your Buster Blader to the graveyard. You then chain Memories' ability to banish that Buster Blader and any dragon in the grave to bring out the Buster Blader monster. And with just 1 trap, you have brought out a Fusion and a Synchro, and you've done it during your opponent's turn, and they perform a little lock in themselves. And if you do have that Dragon Buster, the Destruction Sword in your graveyard, you've locked them out of the extra deck, or because you've activated 1 simple Prologue. We're using 3 copies of Trap Trick because it gets instant access to Prologue. With this, we're running like 9 copies of Prologue. You do have to banish 1 of the copies to set the card, so that's kind of a downside. And after you play Trap Trick, you can only activate 1 more trap for the rest of that turn. So please bear that in mind. But having 9 access to Prologue is really sweet because Prologue, it just shuts down your opponent so many times. Onto the extra deck, guys. I am running 2 copies of Buster Blader, the Dragon Destroyer Swordsman. So this guy is, like I said, guys, you need Buster Blade and any dragon monster. Really easy to go into. This bad boy can't attack directly, it's the only downside. But he does do piercing damage, so that's the other upset, and he gains 1,000 attack and defense for each dragon monster your opponent controls and in their graveyard. And little synchro monster, we'll get into that. And if your opponent controls any dragon monster, they are forced into defense mode. Also, they can't activate their special abilities. So this bad boy shuts them down from activating their monster effects. Like if they have a monster that activates on summon, it won't activate because Buster Blader activates first, swapping them into defense mode, and then they can't activate their special abilities. Using one copy of Borrowload Savage Dragon, really easy to go into, running the links to make this guy really enough a powerhouse. When it synchro summons, you target any link monster in your grave, equip to this bad boy, he gains a bowl counter for each one, and then the beauty is if your opponent activates a spell trap or monster effect, you simply remove a bowl counter and negate that and negate that card. He'll gain a bowl counter for each of your monster's link rating, so if you use the link 2, he'll gain 2 bowl counters. If you use the link 4, he'll gain 4 bowl counters. Really great. In addition, he also gains half that link monster's attack point, so he is realistically a powerhouse. Using 2 copies of Buster Dragon. Now this bad boy combined with our Buster Blader just enables the monster negate lock and also shuts your opponent out of the extra deck. So with this monster's effect, all monsters your opponent controls become dragons, and because they all become dragons, Buster Blader swaps them to defense mode. He gains 1,000 points of damage, and obviously he will shut them out of your opponent. He will shut down their monster effects. And also during your opponent's turn, you can target a Buster Blader monster in our you can target a Buster Blader monster we have and equip it a destructive sword monster from our graveyard. This is a quick effect, so that means during the standby phase, you can simply equip our Buster Dragon, the destructive sword, onto Buster Blader, which will then lock your opponent out of using the extra deck. Again, this is from simply activating one prologue. You've shut your opponent out using monster effects, and you've locked them out of using the extra deck. Really great. And also during your turn, if you do not control a Buster Blader monster, you can special on a Buster Blader during your you can special on a Buster Blader during you can special on a Buster Blader from the graveyard. So that's really sweet as well. On some links, guys, are running Borrowload Savage, helps us with OTKs, and because he's a dark attribute, even if you played Rocket Tracer's ability, you can still special on this bad boy. If it attacks a monster, it gains half that monster's attack, and they lose it, so that's pretty sweet. And it can make any monster go from attack to defense mode in order to attack again, and that is a quick effect. So that means this bad boy can literally attack twice, and also he's got huge attack points. Really great for OTKing. Crystalline Halky Firebrax helps us link climb and get us into some sweet plays because it can bring out any of your dragons, like one of your it can bring out one of your Buster Whelps or Buster Dragon monsters, the little one tuners. So then you've got a dragon in the grave for prologue, or also so then you can get that Buster Dragon in the graveyard for your synchro monster, which is pretty sweet, and that's the main reason why we use Halky Firebrax. I use one copy of Guard Dragon LP and Pisky. The reason why is because we are running World Legacy Guard Dragon, and these guys are literally a combo extender in themselves. Because if 2 link monsters are pointing to the same column, you can special on a dragon monster from your graveyard, or in LP's case, from your deck. Pisky lets you special on a dragon monster from your grave or banish zone, so these 2 cards are really great. The downside is you realistically need World Legacy Guard Dragon in the field to do it, because World Legacy Guard Dragon will move your monster to a different zone, so that means you can activate LP or Pisky's abilities. And the only other downside is, with these guys in the field, it does lock you into only summoning dragon monsters, but that's not a problem because of the next monster you link off your Guard Dragon monster anyway, and that is Heretic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres. So we actually need 2 dragon monsters, really easy to go into, and during your opponent's turn you can simply tribute Heretic Sphere away. It is a quick effect. Bounce 1 card your opponent has on the field back into the hand, or face up card back into the hand, and then you get to and then if you did, tributed your Heretic Sphere, you get a special summon any dragon monster from our deck straight to the field. Its attack and defense will go to 0, but it still gains its ability. 9 times out of 10 I go into Router, because then you just link off Router during your next turn, and then you go to add a dragon to your a rocket to your hand anyway. So like I say, with this it's just an instant interruption, because you can do it during your opponent's main phase, battle phase, end phase, you name it. You can literally just use it as a monster, or use it as any interruption. And then IP Masquerader you use as another interruption, because during your opponent's main phase you can link someone using Masquerader, and any monster used with Masquerader cannot be destroyed by card effects. So that means if you have on your field Heretic Sphere and Masquerader, you can use Heretic Sphere to literally bounce any card your opponent has back into the hand. So say they use their normal summon, bounce it back into the hand. And then because you've triggered off Heretic Sphere, you gain a monster. That means it's live for Masquerader, because Masquerader, you'll use Masquerader and the monster you've just gained off Heretic Sphere, link them both right into Nightmare Unicorn, because Nightmare Unicorn, you can, upon being link summoned, you discard any card, then bounce one card your opponent has back into the deck. So just these two cards, we have 2 interruptions, really great. And also because you use Masquerader, Unicorn can't be destroyed by card effects. So we have like a monster. So we have a OTK machines. We have 2 interruptions. We have an Omnigate. We have 2 monsters that can perform like a monster lock, or no, a monster effect lock, and lock out the extra deck. We have lots of plays, boys. And then we have Protect of the Destructive Swordsman. If it's link summoned, you can send a Destructive Sword card from deck to the grave. Straight away, 9 times out of 10, you'll send that little dragon, the Buster Dragon. So then that way, it's set up for your, not only is it set up for Prologue if you need to use it, but it's set up for the Buster Dragon Synchro, so you can obviously lock your opponent out of the extra deck. And if you use this ability while you have a Buster Blader in your hand, special on the Buster Blade for free, absolutely great. And then we're running 2 copies of Striker Dragon. You need a level 4 or lower dragon monster, which a lot of our monsters fulfill. And when this card is link summoned, you add that Boot Sector launch from your deck to your hand. So that's why we're running the Boot Sector, because it's searchable off this. And that's it for the deck, guys. I have put a side deck in, but that was because someone's asking what do you use the side deck for, and that's the main reason I used that. I don't really use the side deck. I've never used it once, so I'm not going to go over that. But I just put it in just to show people like what you would use a side deck for. So guys, without any further ado, that's it for the deck. It's really fun to play. It's basically a mixture of Dragon Link and Rocket. Yes, we can't do all the things that they do in the TCG with the Dragon Links, but it's still a very fun deck. Like I say, guys, earlier, hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed this deck, or make a subscribe, because everyone does help part of the channel. I'll be back with, guys, the best deck if you've ever, or with the best deck. If you don't know that meme, you'll find out soon enough in the next video. So without any further ado, guys, wherever you are in the world, take care. Have a great day or night. Goodbye.